Hello, my name's Taylor Parsons, and today I'm reviewing the book NurtureShock, New Thinking About Children by Poe Bronson and Ashley Merriman. This book looks at surprising research that questions the common beliefs about how children grow and learn. So let's dive in. Poe Bronson is a journalist and author who writes about human behavior and social trends. And then Ashley Merriman has a background in law and policy with a strong focus on child development and family life. So, together, they've used their skills to explain complex research in a way that more people can understand. Even though they are not developmental psychologists, their work has influenced many parents, teachers, and policymakers. So the authors compared most parenting books to a paint by numbers kit, very rigid and missing the real art of raising children. At first, they also believed that instincts were enough and that books weren't needed. But through their research, they learned that what we actually call instincts are often shaped by culture, trends, and outdated ideas. So, this book shows how some common parenting strategies can actually backfire when the important science is ignored. Their goal with this book wasn't to scare parents, but to encourage clearer thinking about children so that way small changes now can make a big difference later. So this book talks about many different topics, anything from lying to self-control to the effects of having siblings. I chose three topics that stood out to me the most. The first one we're going to start with is the inverse power of praise. Bronson and Merriman, they argue that telling children they are smart can actually harm their performance because it focuses on fixed traits instead of growth. So instead, they suggest praising effort, like focusing on hard work or creative strategies, because this gives the children something that they can control and encourages persistence. This idea was actually supported in our textbook by Gonzalez, Mina, and Iyer, who note that rewards and praise can sometimes weaken children's natural motivation, leading them to depend too much on adult approval. So, effective praise is about guiding children toward self regulation and resilience rather than just labeling their abilities. Some critiques, some research. Some research on praise supports the main point in NurtureShock, which is that focusing on effort helps children develop persistence, self control, and long term success. Overpraising or labeling children as smart can actually create pressure and weaken their natural motivation. This is developmentally appropriate from early childhood through adolescence, and it's going to help children understand the value of learning and personal growth rather than working only for adult approval. The next chapter I wanted to talk about is why white parents don't talk about race. This book shows that avoiding conversations about race can actually reinforce the bias, sending children the message that race is a taboo topic. Research cited in the book found that only 6 families out of this study that they conducted openly discussed race, yet those children showed significantly more positive racial attitudes. Children notice race early, even without adult guidance, so staying silent can unintentionally shape their views. This highlights the importance of developmentally appropriate practice and anti-bias teaching, which encourages open discussion and modeling inclusive behavior. I did some of my own research for this and found a study that Wang and colleagues found that children notice race as early as ages 5 to 9. This fits with social learning theory and developmentally appropriate practice, which suggests guiding children's understanding rather than leaving them to make their own assumptions. If adults avoid talking about race, children may develop biased attitudes. And while the book does encourage conversation, it doesn't fully address how society and institutions can create some racial groups, can treat them unfairly, which is also affecting children's social and moral development. The third chapter that I wanted to talk about is The Science of Teen Rebellion. This one was probably my favorite because I have had fights like this with my mother, and I always thought I was treating it as one way, and it was always seen as different. So Bronson and Merriman challenged the idea that teens are just defiant. Many adolescents lie or test boundaries to protect their relationship with their parents. They're also doing it to avoid disappointment or to show their independence. The book highlights that conflict can be a bridge, not a breakdown, helping teens practice autonomy while keeping relationships strong. Teaching constructive negotiation helps them build responsibility, communication skills, and self control. Again, through some further research, it is shown that authoritative parenting, which is high expectations paired with warmth and flexibility, leads to the best outcomes for teens. Marola and Cam found that teens who handle conflict constructively with their parents often build stronger relationships and better social skills. This approach fits with the DAP principles, supporting independence, emotional growth, and secure parent child bonds, rather than punishing normal adolescent behavior. Here are my overall recommendation. I do think NurtureShock is useful for encouraging reflection and questioning common parenting beliefs. It presents research in an easy to understand way, though it sometimes oversimplifies complex developmental topics. I would recommend it as a starting point for discussion, especially when combined with child development theory and culturally responsive practices. I would recommend using it alongside reliable research that help parents and educators make informed decisions instead of relying only on the book's stories. Here are a list of my references. Thank you for listening.